Marilyn here, back with Cotton Chocolate and Mineral Matrix Saturday sampler for July. Again, we're on page 6 and I'm going to talk about the piecing. So we're back to doing a lot of flying geese, half square triangles, and folded corners. So something that you should be used to now, but we'll go over it again in the colors that you need. So first we're making 8 flying geese. 4 in 2 colors and the other 4 in the second color, Flying Geese B. So for set 1, Flying Geese A, you need fabric base number 1 that will result in looking like this. So there's my fabric base number 1 with fabric 7 on top. And then you will cut those down, of course, to 4.5 by 8. And then Flying Geese B, which is fabric base 9. And the small squares are fabric number 4. And I've cut them all down to the 4.5 by 8 using my wing clipper. Oh, well, I forgot to show you, we have these great little tool blocks, these little rubber blocks, and I wanted to have something to hold my 4 favorite rulers. Now they're 5, but this is great for holding, I have the bigger ruler, wood ruler holder that I hold my big rulers, kind of sits on the floor underneath my machine, but this is wonderful. I have my folded corner clipper. Actually, I have 2, so Honey can cut his. And then I have it holds my block lock in place, my favorite wing clipper, and then now I use the Tucker trimmer that I showed a little bit last time, and a little slot for my favorite, of course, purple splash cutter that I love, a couple trimmers, and it even holds my magic wand that I always seem to misplace and have a few sitting around. So isn't that slick? We do have these at the shop, of course. We have some colors in, and we're getting a bunch more colors that will come in soon also. So love this little tool block. So that's a great new little thing to have. Always looking for fun gadgets, so it's great. And I've been trying it out all week and love it. Okay, so back to our flying geese. Now some of you always like to have another little heads up on cutting these down. So I did save one to cut down into place using the wing clipper. So I'll grab that. I think this is the one that I saved that needed cutting down. So again, the cut down isn't huge, but when you're placing this, there's my 4.5, and I'll use this just to point out. There's my 4.5 V on the 4.5, and I just straighten it up a little bit to get everything in place and make sure those points are at the top. And then I cut off the top. And it's just a little bit of scrap. It's not tons. Push that away, and then I'm going to just turn it the other way. And then that 4.5 will line up at the bottom of the block. And then I have that little X at the top that is my secondary check. So there's my 4.5 all the way around the bottom of the block, matching up those points, and then the square hashtag at the top that lines up with the top V. And then I'm just going to cut that excess off the top. So you can see that I have extra, but it's not a lot of waste. And that squares that up. So in the end, I have these V points that will piece in, and then my 1/4 inch at the bottom. Okay, so that's cutting up your flying geese. So you'll have 4 of each color. And then what you'll be doing is taking them and piecing them together. So you have, just like the picture here, piecing 4 of those in your sets, and they'll be going around the outside of your block here. And the nice thing is you don't have to match a point. And then I did press towards the dark, and it sits nice and flat. Okay? And then when I piece, I look at it, so I'm piecing this way, so that I'm just going a little tad inside that intersection, so that when I open it up, I'm not cutting off that point. Okay, so 4 of those with your flying geese, so I've pieced a couple of those together. The next thing you're doing is making half square triangles, and you're matching up 4 blocks, 4 of your fabrics, 3 and 8, all that you have, and 2 fabrics of 2 and 6, all that you have. So you'll get 8 half square triangles of A and 4 half square triangles of B. Okay, and this is what they look like. Here's some here. And you're going to then lay out fabric 1, 2 of your fabric 8, and 1 of your fabric 6. And you need 4 of those. So when I pressed it, I pressed my final one towards that light. Okay, and that lies down very nicely. Get some of these scraps out of the way. And I used my block lock to cut down my half square triangles. We've been through that before. They square up to 2.5 inches, and that's a 2.5 inch block. So when you're finished, this unit should measure 4.5 inches. Okay, so all these are matching. And then our last item is our center square and a square. So you're taking fabric 9 and 4 of your square number 2s. And I'm using my folded corner clipper. I've already done 2 sides, and you know I do opposite sides, press towards the triangles, and then I do my last 2. So I put this on this side, and then I measure up my 2.5 inches, and I make sure that it's flush with that outside. Put my 2.5 inch mark there. So I make sure it's flush with each edge, and I can see my line all the way around. I am right-handed, so this is how I'm lining up. If you're left-handed, you have to flip it. And then cut this off if you'd like to. Before you sew it, you can just stick a little pin in it to hold it. And then flip this the other direction. And somewhere I have the, I think I just knocked it on the floor. Well, and in any case, you get the idea. Flip it the other way and cut that side off. And then I put them under the machine, sew them, and press them out. And that's your square and a square. So this goes in the middle, okay? And then you have these on your outer edge. And the geese, how are the geese flying? Well, we know this light goes on the outside. So they're flying towards your block, okay? So what do you have to match up? Well, if this was sitting out here and already pieced, you know you have these 2 points to match up. And I would precision pin those. We talked about those last month, precision pinning. So you have 2 squares like this, and then you have this block in the corners. And just remember, the lights go on the outside of the block, okay? So this is sitting in like this. And you also have another point to match up. You have a point here, and you have a point here. So again, when I'm piecing this along, I'm going to pin this point and this point. So take your time and pin those properly with precision pinning, okay? So that way these match up nicely, because it will show when they're not matched up because of these dark, these contrasting colors. So it takes a little bit of time. It looks simple, but there are these intersections to pay attention to. So you'll sew this row, matching up those points, this row matching up these points in here, and then matching them across. So it's a simple block, but some points to match. Okay, so that's it. We'll see you soon. See you next month, and have a great one. And happy 4th of July celebration as well. Thanks for always joining us, and hopefully we'll also see you on the quilt run. We have lots of information at the shop about that, and it's going to be a really nice event the first time at our shop. So that's something to look forward to as well. So thanks a lot. We'll see you soon.